man.
What's going on?
We have to come up with some side content.
Well, not only that, the calendar is about to flip.
Can you believe it?
It's about to flip. It's almost
20, make 26.
That's correct.
And what better way to celebrate than to review our first entire year of episodes?
Yeah, and this isn't going to be some massive walk down memory lane, but I've learned so much in this past year putting this together. Learned stuff about myself that I didn't even know that I would have learned going through this process. I don't know about you, but when I walked into this podcast, I made some assumptions about what the greatest albums of all time meant.
Yeah, I could, with great aplomb and confidence, say I have been a changed man on where we put me in the same seat last year.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I knew so much more.
Yeah, it's been an amazing learning experience. I'm so thrilled to have listened to many of these albums that I never would have listened to.
Yes. Has this not been like the longest year in reflection? I feel like we've been at this for years, plural.
Well, we did start before 2025.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, we started late summer of 24?
Yep.
To get our ducks in a row, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's the sheer amount of content we've absorbed, right? And then discussed.
Yeah, if you think our episodes between 70 minutes and around 2 hours, that's a long one for us, but it's a lot of jibber jabber.
Yeah, and it's a lot of stuff that got us to the gibber table.
Did you think that we would be so prolific, as you like to say, when it comes to our sponsorship deals?
Yeah, I'd say one of the most successful facets we have is our marketing and the level of interest in investing in our product.
Yeah.
I've been really, really happy thus far with most of our sponsors, with the exception of a few, which I have pending lawsuits with, so I can't talk about it.
That's right. Now, if you're one of those people who skips the ads in a podcast, I'm one of those people who does that. I would behoove you to go back and actually listen to our sponsors. They are, they're different than what you're used to hearing. And I think that they represent, sort of a different mindset than what you're used to hearing from most sponsors.
I would say they're curated.
Mm-hmm.
We tend to like to support small business, often counterculture.
Yep.
And I think the offerings across the board, you're probably just not going to get on your generic podcast.
Yeah. I'm really fortunate that, we have some of our repeat sponsors, like Harold's Haggis Hemorrhoid Cream, and the brewers behind Tears of Ale.
Oh yeah. I mean, every time he's on, what a joy.
Yeah.
It's just so exciting to listen to. Yeah. I've made pretty good friends with, Morty. He's one of my favorite.
Morty Felcash.
Yeah, gotta love Morty.
Yeah, Morty's been great, and I've got to say, I think that the partnership that we have with Helda Farden, the author of The Girl Who Kicked a Pigeon, The Girl Who Loves a Pigeon, that's been a good partnership.
I heard she's back in the writer's chamber going for a third.
Nice.
The cage, as she calls it now.
That's correct.
Yeah. She has to come through here with a counselor, but it's good to see her every time we get to see her.
Yeah. What about you? Tell me about your year.
The thing that I learned about this podcast is how much work goes into it. And as the minority worker in the podcast, because Dan does so incredibly much on the outside of promotion programming, he puts together all of the advertisements for us. It's not enough to just listen to an album a couple times and talk about it. It just costs more. I don't mean in dollars, because frankly, we've spent none. Mm-hmm. But the time and just the focus. It's really challenging to come in and hold ourselves to that 4:20 Tuesday a.m. release time every single week, come hell or high water.
It's a lot.
It's long nights. I mean, more often than not, we're walking out of here at 2.
Yep.
And that's, to an early morning.
I mean, that's mostly due to scheduling, right? You're a busy boy with, being stay-at-home dad and also
Nighttime musician.
right. And so, so we consolidate. Basically, if you think about the fact that we only get together once a week for the amount of content we put together, the amount of production we put into certain things, it's a lot.
Yeah. I think, some of the conversations we've had, and the cool part is, being able to do this to a friend, there's an incentive to keep your heads. Like,
Yeah.
some of the good conversations we've had moving forward are like, at what point in time do we bring on someone to help produce?
Yeah.
Right? Help market. Take some of that work off of mainly your plate. But also just to like give us more space to focus on the creative and less of the,
Administrative. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But overall, my God, what a journey.
What a journey. And so we thought we would go through, and actually we've curated the listeners' favorites of episodes based off of downloads and feedback that we received. And we thought we might go back and talk about some of those episodes a little bit and maybe, share out some of the highlights from some of those episodes for you so you can go back and hear some stuff. And maybe you didn't listen to an episode and maybe you'll get a taste, if you will, for that episode and want to hear more.
Tell you what, when I saw the list of kind of where the numbers fell, I was a little surprised.
Yeah?
Yeah, of some of the highlights, and I'm happy to speak about them, of course.
Yeah.
But not what I would have assumed if you look at the collection of, 40 albums we've put behind us?
Yeah. Yep. 40 albums plus another, 6 of side content for season 1 and 6 for season 2.
Yeah. We'll stick to the guns.
This one.
Do we have a side content piece in here? We do.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, what's the first episode we'll take a look at?
The first episode is actually episode 1.
What? The Arcade Fire?
The Arcade Fire. The album is Funeral by Arcade Fire. Tell me about your thoughts walking into that album.
I knew nothing about Arcade Fire, and in my mind, I always thought to myself, this is going to be some hipster shit. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, it was. Mm-hmm. But in a great way. I think I identify with a lot of it. Mm-hmm. I wasn't a huge fan on first listen or second listen. It was a little chewy. I also didn't really have a process for like opening up albums. I didn't know how to listen to it, knowing I had to report on it later.
Yeah.
So it was immediately at a disadvantage. It ended up as a massive advantage because I listened to it probably 2 times more than anything else I listened to through this whole project.
Right.
Which is on average 6 to 7 listens, I think. I've tried to like do a listen a day, but realistically, I never listen on Thursday.
Right.
And if I think to do it on Friday, great. I always double/triple down the last 2 days. Always.
Yeah.
That way it's like really hot in my brain. And this is one of those albums that's a grower. And the sooner you catch the layers of it and the songwriting and the arrangement of it, and then you can afford to get into the story of it, you have a really cool, comprehensive album.
Yeah, this was a band for me that I saw them on Saturday Night Live for the first time. That's when I saw them, and it was after Weekend Update, and I'm like, I'm going to bed. What is this? And so I walked in with probably a crummy attitude and came out really enjoying the album and enjoying the craftsmanship that they put behind this album. This is not necessarily the type of music I would normally listen to, actually. But I found myself, I've listened to it since several times.
Yeah, I would say I feel like every month you tell me you've listened to it again.
Yeah, maybe not quite that much, but yeah, there's some good stuff on here and some songs that stand out. And the episode obviously holds a place in my heart because, like you, I didn't really know what I was doing to prepare for this. And I remember walking into this, I show up for the first episode. I have pages of notes, and I saw the look on your face, like, what is he doing? We're not doing this. This is supposed to be a conversation. What are you doing, Woodard? And I could just feel that. You didn't say that, but I could just feel that. And I don't think
it helped that I had no notes.
Right.
We had a good friendship learning experience that set the tone for this, which is like, wow, we are polar opposite in this category.
Right. Because I wanted to make sure that I could at least articulate, I didn't want to forget things. And while I might have 10 pages of notes in front of me, I probably read or, I glance at my notes frequently. I'm not going through the 10 pages of notes. I'm just like, however the conversation evolves, if you're let's say you're at a dead spot, or like you've kind of run out of gas and there might be a little bit more to talk about, I'll bring it up. If not, if we've covered it, there's pages of notes I never even tap into.
Now, here's where we were fortunate, though. We really looked out in the sense that we landed our format immediately. Our show format has not changed.
Yep.
And it's just the way that the cards played the first time.
Yep.
And when I say format, I mean, there's some banter.
Yep.
There is Dan giving us kind of the background, the history. There's a break. And then we split the album up. We go song by song. That was not predetermined. We did so little planning. We were really like, okay, we're going to kind of wait. We were prepared in the essence that we spent time with the album.
Yep.
And we know our stuff about music enough. But we landed on a format and we haven't moved from that. We've learned how to move through it more efficiently. We've learned how to pass the baton better. There's no question about that. But, man, I can't imagine having to recreate it, right?
Yeah.
So what we've done is we've curated a clip from, each one of the episodes we'll talk about today. So you can go back and listen to young Dan and I speak about this with less mic confidence than we have today.
Yeah. So here is a segment from Funeral by Arcade Fire. No. And they actually they do play with a little bit with harmony here. They do some modal interchange stuff. They do some 4 minor, some flat 6 for all you music nerds out there. But I kind of like, the end has this sort of solo. I call it kind of a solo, instrumental feature.
I'd say it's a feature.
Yeah,
yes.
that rather than a solo. And they hit like this diminished chord that just really kind of fits in. And it's sort of an ambiguous chord change at the end, harmonically ambiguous, but then they hit this diminished chord. It really just feels nice when they go in there. And again, the ending of the song speeds up.
This is where I will say my piece.
Okay.
I look at these songs when you look at the instrumentation and the melodies, and then even some of the harmonies as compositions, not rock songs.
Right.
Holy shit. Can you ground me quicker and take me out of that sophisticated mindset by putting a drummer in who plays Boots and Cats on every goddamn song? It's the one bone I have to pick as a drummer core here.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a great beat.
Yeah.
3 or 4 times it did not serve the song. Because the bass never changed this entire album. This dude's always playing eighth notes, pick down, up, whatever. But this drum beat has to stop being featured. It's the one bone I can pick. Now, with that said, if I was at a live show, that beat is what serves it up. That's what gets your crowd jumping and bawling out, right?
Yep.
But I meant to do a hard count one more time of how many times we got on drum set.
Yep.
I didn't do it. But I'd be willing to bet it's 70% of the songs, 7 out of 10 songs. I'd be willing to bet we hear that beat.
Yeah. Actually, I remember going through that with you. And I want to make something clear based off what we said before that segment. Carl walked into this with no notes. Carl now does take notes.
I do take notes.
Yes.
They're still not Dan's notes, but I take notes.
Well, I think the thing is whether you're doing research or just collecting your thoughts, sometimes it's hard to always be in the moment, especially when you have like life going on or it's something you're really unfamiliar with. I can't necessarily say that I memorized Clandestino, for example.
I certainly didn't.
Right? So to walk into it and have an intelligent conversation, I need to be what was that? Oh, that's this one, right? And I give myself like tips, like, oh, it starts with this and what have you. But
you got to evolve over time on
Yeah.
how you did that.
Yeah.
For me, I walked in going, hey, I don't know what our expectation is here, but the other piece is I don't get a new album and then take notes.
That's a weird thing to do.
That's not normal for me.
No.
So why start then? The answer is when you're cataloging and rolling through songs, and as much as you and I have the ability before we shoot the segment to like quickly scroll through them and give them a quick listen, end of the day, if it's something you're not familiar with or it's one of these anthologies,
Yeah.
you're screwed.
Yeah. The Muddy Waters, which we may talk about. I think we're talking about that later in this episode. What was that, 53 songs?
Yeah, there's no way you're getting through that. I mean, even if you don't listen to every song or take notes on every song, I listen to every song a few times, but I chose my favorites.
Right.
And I chose the things I wanted to talk about. You're not going to remember those off the top of your head.
And nobody wants to hear us talk about 12 Bar Blues 53 times over and over again.
There was like 2 16s in there.
Yeah, fair.
So what stood out to you most about Arcade Fire, besides kind of both you and I, shaking our predisposition there? What is there like a color, a flavor, a word you would stick to them at the end of the day?
I think that they are good arrangers, decent performers, and they're not afraid to use a lot of ingredients. My critique of them was they had a couple of tricks that they used a few too many times.
And you hear it in our
We talk about it. You talk about the Boots and Cats, and I talk about now I'm going to do, here's my new outro, which is just some other random idea that's faster.
There it is.
That being said, I really enjoyed the album and overall the production, but
I think it was a really great starter because neither of us had a clue about it.
Yep.
And there's a beauty to that. We really got the best of that piece, I think.
Yeah.
What did we choose for our next one to review?
So coming into the next one, this is, for the most part, the second most downloaded episode. We excluded our solo episodes from this list. We only wanted to talk about the ones that we're both involved in simultaneously. So it happens to be a piece of side content, which is the breakup songs, the best breakup songs from the 70s to today.
So one every decade we chose and went back and forth.
Yes.
I loved this episode.
It was a lot of fun.
And all the songs are so good.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
I think also what's fun is we had both a slightly different framing for what we were considering a breakup song. I was under the framing of you're broken up, not we are breaking up. And the impetus even behind the idea of this was we came in pretty hot and heavy on the album Here, My Dear by Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, not in a flattering way.
No, neither one of us liked the album. Both of us love Marvin Gaye, but that album, in our opinion, was a train wreck.
Yeah.
And I realized after we recorded it that it's a train wreck written by a man who is broken by his divorce.
Yeah, he's miserable.
And so I was like, well, I don't want to necessarily make us seem like we're heartless. So let's go pick a bunch of breakup songs. And so like, hey, we can get down with what it feels like to break up.
Sure. I mean, it's also like, what, second or third most written about event in music?
Yep.
Like, it's just up there. There's abundance of them.
Yeah. So I think we covered a lot of great songs on that episode. And we actually have a playlist. If you go find Backwards Beats podcast on... So there's Backwards Beats podcast. We're obviously on Spotify, but we also have an account. Unfortunately, you can't put the two things together. But there is a playlist of these breakup songs that you can go listen to and just know that we're right.
It's a badass list, y'all.
It really is.
There's one song that I think we want to highlight, though, that really stood out.
She's Gone.
You want to show them the segment? Yeah.
Yeah, She's Gone. Let's do it. So mine's very obvious, I think. I picked the song She's Gone by Hall & Oates.
Oh, beautiful.
Off their 1973 album Abandoned Luncheonette. And I mean, to me, it's just a fantastic song. It's got the soul singers, the doubled vocals, which I think is kind of interesting. Sax solo, which is pretty epic.
Yeah,
that fits in a breakup song perfectly for that time. I looked into this for a second. The sax player, gentleman by the name of Joe Farrell, who plays with Chick Corea's band Return to Forever.
No way.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are epic.
Yeah. And little known drummer by the name of Bernard Purdy's playing on this.
Dude, he is all the rage, ain't he?
Yeah. And to me, just like the angst of she's gone. I better learn how to face it. She's gone. I pay the devil. I can't even speak. I'll pay the devil to replace her.
And it ends on what went wrong. It's very powerful.
Yeah.
But the cool part about that tune that's always struck me is it's very monotone and like vibey. I know that those seem like they don't fit, but they really are. It's almost like the world has been painted gray. I think I'll spend eternity in the city, right? Like very like, and then all of a sudden you get these big blowouts going into the chorus. And so it's kind of like emotionally like stoking you.
High contrast. Yeah.
Ooh, those are great. The 70s, man. Both of those fall calmly into the yacht rock category.
They do.
And they're in good company of other bands like 10cc, Bread, Ambrosia, Steely Dan, you name it, you can keep going on.
Bread. Love me some Bread, man.
Oh, yeah. Underrated group. It's retching. It's a perfect song.
It
and
is.
if you don't like Hall Notes, I probably have a problem with you.
And I would encourage the listener to sometimes look past one of the pitfalls of Hall & Oates is not this song, but some of their 80s material has the trappings of the 80s, and sometimes you have to look through some of that. But all of these songs have such good bones. They're really good songs. And go watch live at Daryl's house if you want to hear them without some of the 80s trappings and productions. She's Gone is in the 70s, but
no, you're more like I assume we're talking like Man Eater, Private Eyes type thing, yeah.
Private Eyes great.
Slaps, yeah, that's amazing. No, but this is a timeless classic, and it especially right before that last chorus, the way he's singing is unreal.
Yeah.
So next we scoot into our much beloved Sheryl Crow.
Yeah. Talk about you walking into this album, because we had different perspectives on this one.
So me walking into Sheryl, great. I love Sheryl Crow.
Mm-hmm.
Have for a long time. Think she's a fantastic writer. Think she's a fantastic singer, performer. I've seen her live.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hip to a lot of her catalog. I kind of grew up, they say that, the years that where music hits you the most emotionally is between 13 and 17 years of age. I'm right there.
Yeah.
I'm right there. So her stuff sticks with me. And so I came into this one positive on it.
Yeah.
The difference is I walked out of it even more up on it.
Right.
So though I liked Sheryl Crow on kind of, this level, yeah, she's great. Heck yeah. Having spent time with the album, I mean, I walked out of this, we both did, like gushing.
Yeah. So a little change did you good.
A little change did me great.
Yeah.
No, and this album specifically has just, if you look at, they really kind of like, you could have made the argument for 2 albums here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even 3 if you look at all the songs that, she's known for. I'm really glad we landed here.
Yeah. So this was an album I already owned. So I already had a preconception. It was great for me to revisit it because I bought it when it came out. Loved it then. Kind of sat on it for a number of years. It happens sometimes. You listen to something a lot, and then it's like, hey, I've heard that.
I've got that. I can listen back to it in my head.
Yep. And it's always interesting when you go back to one of those albums. He's like, oh, that's right. I listened to XYZ album 300 times after it came out, and I haven't listened to it in 15 years.
It's crazy. And now you got a whole new set of ears on you.
Yeah.
Not only because of life experience, but because of the demands of the show.
Right.
And we're comparing production notes now from other female artists.
Yeah.
And similar genre. And Sheryl's, she holds up so well.
Right. Because we had to, walking into this one, we come off of earlier Miranda Lambert.
Yeah, I would say Lambert is how we entered the season.
Right. And while Miranda Lambert is fantastic, we had some problems with the production, at least on the first disc of that album.
Of a dub, yeah.
Yeah.
And, that's not too dissimilar in genres, coming Lambert to Crow, right?
Yeah.
So we were kind of comparing apples to apples, per se.
Yeah, it wasn't Lambert to Courtney Love.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or Lambert to Nirvana. Like,
yeah.
It was, okay,
Yeah.
female country-inspired singer into female country-inspired-ish singer.
Yeah.
Ish.
More blues, yeah.
Bluesy, yeah. But
So yeah, should we listen to it?
yeah, again and again.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Another signature sound that's coming through here. She does a very definitive vocal double. A very definitive vocal double. Now, a lot of people double their vocals. I know. I hear you guys saying this to me. What Sheryl does, have you noticed with her vocal doubles, the offset of volume might be negligible. They might be even.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, especially a technique that I use in my studio all the time, is a vocal double, but you'll knock one of them down, maybe EQ it, and then definitely take some, a couple decibels off of it.
Right.
So you have a more lead double, and then you're making it full. These are just like two damn near perfect takes sitting on top of each other with just enough inconsistency.
Yeah. Enough phase and
You really feel like you're hitting a wall of her.
Yeah.
And it's dry. It's not terribly reverb. Nothing has a ton of reverb on this album, except some of the guitar amps at times.
Yeah.
And it just makes for a really clear message from her. I love when you can hear every word an artist says. This is a great example.
Yeah. I agree. And when the double is not as tight, I believe that's a choice.
Yeah, she's got the skill set.
Yo hablo español?
Nay. And you know that. If you've listened to anything, if this is the first episode of any of our podcast stuff you ever listen to, you got to go back and do some homeworks.
Before we go on to why I asked that question, Sheryl is someone you should definitely check out. Her pedigree walking into her solo career. She performed Michael Jackson and Prince and Stevie Wonder as a background singer. She's phenomenal. And she just feels like the real deal to me. So I'm thrilled that we actually got to cover that album.
That was absolutely and will remain a highlight of this podcast for as long as we live. Like, it's so... I look back on that album with incredible joy.
Yeah. Moving forward to the Tejano music scene. We're moving on to Amor Prohibito by Selena. And I didn't really know what to expect walking into this one. I'd heard some of her music before, but never really listened to her. Not really familiar with Tejano music, which is essentially, not to be disparaging, Tex-Mex music,
Yep.
right? So literally what it is an acronym for. And I was... at first listened to this album, I had some problems because Selena is a fantastic, phenomenal singer, very gifted singer, fantastic voice, but there are production elements in this that were mind-blowing to me because we had some really good musicianship with all this MIDI instrumentation that felt like Up With People, like, Disney Clubhouse kind of like.
But so here's where I have to interject. And I've not spent any real time around it. I just guess I've heard enough of it hanging out at like margarita spots. Like, dead ass. That's such a normal instrumentation from late 80s to today.
It was just surprising to me.
It's ingrained in my head hearing, kind of these horns. The same way that reggae music, you'll often hear like the cheesiest like Casio horn sections. It's just part of the sound. It didn't bug me at all.
Yeah, I had to actually do research to see like, am I being critical here, or is this a cultural thing that I'm just not familiar with? And it was the latter. It grew on me. I ended up enjoying the album. I don't think it was enough. I don't think I hit it.
No, well, here's the kicker. Had she not been the singer, the thing probably has no place here at all, right?
Right.
But what we did learn from this, I think we both agree,
Yep.
is that she's an absolute powerhouse.
Yes. We did not hit this one.
Her vocal performance is really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And as a performer live, she's very good.
She's phenomenal.
I'll tell you what I found so valuable off of this, though it wasn't like part of the run. The interviews at the end
Yeah.
gave so much context.
Yep.
To two gringos who don't know any better, I guess.
Yeah. No, my mind, I changed my mind throughout. I think that I have not, the MIDI instrumentation and the synthetic instruments did not grow on me enough that I want to listen to the album over again, but I respect her as an artist fully. And
Like, I feel like she deserves a spot on the 5, right? Like, you get the Sheriff star.
absolutely.
The songs may not grip me. Ironically, my favorite song on the entire release was actually not on the original release.
Right.
And it's totally a 90s R&B song.
Right. It wasn't her cover of Back in the Chain Gang?
It's no, that's not my jam.
Yeah.
But it's a fascinating episode, and I feel like when you and I decide to disagree with this program and the magazine, we really don't take a lot of pleasure in that. Like, I feel like you and I have a good time being kind of rough around the edges. There's some cynicism at times, but I'm not here to disparage any artist ever. Neither are you, right?
And I don't think we've ever done that. I mean,
So it's a hard decision though to like be like, don't love your spot on this list,
right.
You know?
It is hard. It's very difficult. There's no version of this podcast that has the intent of us just crapping on someone's art.
Ever. Even the one that we absolutely hated. I think we...
I'll crap on that one.
Yeah, I'll crap on it, but we spent 40 minutes
Hedging.
before crapping.
Yes.
If you don't know what that is, go listen back. It won't take long to figure out which one it is.
It's episode 3.
There it is. It's 3. We took a number 3 on it.
Yeah.
It's like a fish fillet.
Yeah.
But we were able to pull out a couple good sound bites. We have one we want to share.
Yeah.
Selena?
Let's do that. Little things out.
We were using like a microKORG or something on Lad.
Yeah, we were.
Great tune.
So MIDI is an acronym. First of all, it stands for musical instrument direct interface, and it's a standard that's essentially, if you want to think about it, it's like sheet music for a computer.
That's right.
Right. And what's really cool about it is it's not music in and of itself. It's just a set of instructions. And if you really wanted to, there's a couple like little languages that you can do. There's one called MML, which is music macro language. Another one called MIDI CSV. You can literally just type this if you know the numbers, because basically it's like you have an instruction set that says, all right, here's my octave. That's a number. Here's my velocity, how hard I'm hitting it. And here's the duration. And here's the pitch. And they're all just numbers with a little bit of annotation.
You could code music.
Yes, you can type it into Notepad, upload it to an online MIDI thing, save it as a .mid file, and write music in Notepad if you wanted to. It's kind of cool.
That seems, as a musical person, like I hate that and fascinated by it all simultaneously.
Yeah, it was developed in the 80s, and it maintains to this day. The only thing we're picking on MIDI specifically, not because MIDI is bad or evil. It's just that it's really the sample quality of the day doesn't stand up today. People use MIDI all the time today.
Drake, I mean, like the things you hear on the radio or Spotify or TikTok,
Yep.
it is so MIDI.
Mm-hmm.
It's more prevalent than ever. And just because the cable went away, and now that virtual instruments have gone to a USB-C connection, it doesn't mean MIDI has changed. In fact, every editor I send my tracks out of the studio to can, drop any one of my tracks into MIDI, analyze it, and then scooch stuff left, right, up, down, put it in tune. It's a fantastically powerful tool.
Yeah.
However, there is this notion of the sound of MIDI, and we're talking about the old sound of MIDI.
Yes.
When you had a bank of X amount of instruments, my God, does this album have the same sounding fake horns or orchestral section over and over and over?
Yeah, and what's disappointing to me about that is that was some nerdy stuff, dude.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to go digging.
Yeah, but hopefully you learned something from it, and hopefully I got it right. I'm not fact checking myself again.
Nah, already played that game once.
But that is a challenge. And actually, we just did earlier in side content. We did an episode on the songs in 6/8, and I talked about Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, and everything I said was correct, but I used the wrong title because classical music's named stupid, because it's named after like sonata in C or whatever it is, and so I said that it was Allegro ma non troppo. That is actually the first movement, is what that one is called. Which makes more sense because the second one is called Vivace Presto, because the second movement is fast. So there's my errata and my correction of the name. If you're not a classical music listener, you don't even know I got it wrong. Just assume I got it right. But
if you're not a classical music listener, you have no idea what he just said.
Right. I just used a lot of
Presto doesn't have basil in it.
Yeah, Presto. But you don't want to make your Presto too fast.
No. You got to take it slow.
Yeah.
Wait, no, not medium. Never mind.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since those piano lessons.
So now we're moving back to season 1 again. We're talking about Stephanie.
The Gaga?
Lady Gaga's album Born This Way.
I think both you and I were, is there a reference there? We're hyped. Mm-hmm. We saw this on the list. We're like, okay, we're Gagaing.
Yeah.
The latter part of this list, especially the first, or as you would call the last several songs of the top 500 list, but the first that we have to go through, we're like, okay, these are like the one person bitched up a storm on the staff and demanded their favorite album go in. It's rough. Like, one of the joys of this show is it's only going to get better and better as the albums are just going to get better and better towards number 1. That is a fact of life.
Right.
And so we didn't have a lot of like pop star clout popular names to like scoop people in off the internet to start listening. It's really, really hard to get people excited about, Suedo or Suicide by Suicide. Like,
right.
But you say Gaga, you're like, shit, we're going to get some listeners.
Right. Except that because we're at the beginning of our podcasting career here, and episode 17 is when this was for us, our demographic doesn't give a damn about Lady Gaga.
No, because all we listen to is like Phil Spector and
right.
the Ronettes.
Well, I would just even say, I think our podcast is not geared towards a 22-year-old anyway, because I think you need an attention span to go through this. I'm not saying 22-year-olds don't have attention span, but
they didn't grow up in a time where you listened to full albums. Like,
right.
Dude, when I was a kid, it was a brand new idea, to release just like a single as a cut. Mm-hmm. I remember the first time I bought a CD as a single. You always hear good album stories. I have mine. I thought I bought the album or something. I just bought the single. I was so impressed. It was so cheap. Mm-hmm. I was like, where are the rest of the songs?
Right.
And so now it's like pulling teeth to get someone to download an album. Everything's a single. If not, there's an EP, right?
Right. So we walked into Lady Gaga. We were both hyped. This is the first time that we had a split decision.
It is indeed.
It is.
It is indeed.
That was hard for me because I was the one who was a negative, not because I didn't like the album. I fully respect Lady Gaga. She's a phenomenal performer, musician, singer. Like, there's no arguing. Like,
she almost went bankrupt because she had to put on such elaborate productions. Yeah. I think her tour cost her $120 million.
Yes.
It's insane.
She is the real deal. To me, what I feel like with this album was there was a little too much sameness for it was all good, but it was too much sameness for me.
She does fall into a pattern.
Yep. And
I've listened to one of her other albums.
Yeah. But the songs that I really do like.
German dungeon porn.
That was yeah. So funny thing. So we do not really edit our episodes at all. With the exception of that episode, we did edit it because I went, I don't know, like 15 minutes into this like weird S&M club that I went to one time and met somebody named Merlin. and it's a fun story, but in hindsight, I'm like, wow, I went really long, and it was like maybe 15 minutes of that.
We were already
story.
trying to carve time off the thing, and you looked at me, and you're like, can we just cut all that out?
Right.
All right, bro.
Yep.
The so I hit this album in the sense that I would keep it on the list. You did not. I think if I were to explain my position, because I'm not in love with this one, I think her performance across the board is good. Her songwriting is great. I think the social statement in it is what really kept it from me. Mm-hmm. This is when you and I were really starting to redefine, which we're allowed to do, by the way. It's our goddamn show. What we meant by would you hit this album?
Correct.
And there was definitely a turn in the tide from season 1 to season 2 where we kind of redefined what we meant by is it here. We learned that the rubric wasn't just one opinion. It was like weighted between 3 or 4 aspects.
Yeah, it's not a binary decision anymore.
Yes. And I'm thankful for that.
Yeah. And it's a perfect album to transition to a non-binary decision.
Hey.
Yeah, so there's do we think it belongs on the list? Do we like it? Because there's plenty of albums that I like that aren't on the list, and I'll continue to like them.
Yep.
And I don't think some of the albums that I like belong on the list.
This is in hindsight, this is an album that I think belongs on the list, though it's not actually my cup of tea.
Yep. And
right?
And I don't think that came across at this point. I don't think we were there yet.
It's funny. I've been considering as a piece of side content later, like, do we give like each other 3 judges gavels and like can like change the decision?
Oh yeah.
That, like really, now that you get more wise on it, you know how like when you do a competition, like I've judged a million Battle of the Bands.
Yep.
I always withhold my judgment on the first band because you have nothing to put it against.
Right.
You know, context maybe goes a long way.
It sucks to be the first band at Battle of the Bands unless you're definitely the best band.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
We have a clip from our Gaga episode, don't we?
We do. Let's do that. What's interesting to me, well, the song actually is semi-autobiographical about, the frustration that she felt. She was dropped from a label and claims like at the time was the worst day of her life, and she went out to burn off steam. And this song feels more like going out to burn off steam.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what the Marrying the Night is. It doesn't feel to me like this real inspiration, like you got to marry the night, even though it kind of gets there.
It does. I mean, it gets there via this bridge where it punches into this major chord work all of a sudden.
This bridge serves, these are my notes, this bridge serves as the inspiration. She's ready to take on the world. And it is also indicated by the modulation to the relative major.
There we are.
Literally my notes.
Yeah. It won't be the first time we see this happen, by the way.
Yeah.
To foreshadow some stuff. But no, overall, is there anything stunning about this? Maybe not, but I think what it really does is sets your ears up and definitely your heart rate up for what you're about to get into for the rest of this collection.
Yeah, there's nothing particularly interesting in this harmonically, but there is one thing I've always liked about this song is during the Mama Mary part, the chord progression, this is all minor. The whole verse is minor. It's all A minor. And then the very first time she goes through the chorus, I think the chord's like A minor, G, F, and then she hits the C only one time. The other time it goes back to, goes back to the whatever the regular chord progression is. Well, only one time she does that, and it gives you a little lift. So I encourage you, like, listen to that section of the song, and you'll hear all of a sudden, oh, it feels a little bit happy for just a second.
Well, that's like Love Song.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
By The Cure. That's exactly what happens.
Yep.
Same chords too. And it's true because when you have that A minor and that C, the relative, relationship between them, they're the same.
Yeah.
They're the same, but it's this brightening moment. And I agree. It's a little bit of a glimmer.
Yeah.
And she sings so powerfully over this whole song.
Yeah. And to be clear, when it goes in the bridge, not only does it go to C major, it goes to C Lydian.
Ooh.
So Lydian's a major mode. What makes it Lydian, and Lydian let's see, what would you know Lydian? You know Lydian from the Simpsons
You're about
theme
to say
song.
the Simpsons theme song is what we always use in
Yep.
education for it.
Yep. Or Maria from West Side Story is a Lydian song for those older listeners, and you want to do that. But Lydian, because it's basically just a regular major chord, a major scale, the only thing that makes it a little different is the fourth note of the scale is raised by a half step.
Yep.
And it gives it a more optimistic thing. So because the whole song's minor, most of this album's minor.
Yep. Until you get to the choruses.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, there's a pattern here. That Lydian lift, though, it breaks up the monotony of pretty much otherwise passe chord progression. You can say what you want about the tracks, the production, which I like. It's kind of like that housey thing, you know. She's such a good performer.
She is.
She's such a good performer. And she has so many different styles. She's willing to embrace it all. And I think we can both agree that overwhelmingly this album was channeling rock in a big way.
She loves rock music. We talked about that in another clip where I was calling out all like these Kiss songs that she was channeling, and then when I went and looked it up, she said, "Yep, I'm channeling like 80s Kiss." I'm like, "Yes, you are."
I saw a reel on Instagram the other day because I got on to post our stuff. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I clicked it, but it was like 30 seconds on like Metallica, like James talking about her. I guess she was sitting in with them.
So at the Grammys, she sang a song with them,
and they were talking about like how he was like, "Oh, we're taking on a pop artist. Look, she's not even wearing pants." And then they're like, she was there like 2 hours before us, knew every freaking word and crushed it.
Yeah.
And, and you see how intense she was.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I'm behind that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Overwhelmingly popular episodes across the board. Great female singers. We've covered so many. I don't know that any of them in the catalog so far have surprised us, or I don't know, we feel so protective of over our own Bonnie Raitt.
The Nick of Time album. Yes.
This is such a sweetheart album for us. And by that, I mean, like, I did not go into this thinking much. I've always been like, Bonnie Raitt's a badass. You know, seen stuff, know she has a Fender Stratocaster model after her name.
Right.
I didn't see this coming.
Yeah. And I had the follow-up album to this. I own the follow-up album to this. And so I've always been a fan of hers, but what was nice about this, two things that were nice about this. One was the more critical ear, like spending real time marinating in the production of this album and everything that goes along with it. The other thing was during the research, I don't know if you recall, there's a whole thing about the Raitt Castle. Do you remember that part?
Yeah.
And so
is it Irish or Scottish? Scottish descent?
Yeah, Scottish. And so she goes back to like the 1500s, and there's this whole like dinner party that basically the Raitts and some other listen to the episode, and basically there was a betrayal, family betrayal, and the father of the original house like murders everybody, including like this one woman, and we make a pretty funny comment about her hands.
Well, I don't believe we do it in the snippet we chose.
We do not.
We chose the snippet for this one specifically, though, because Dan gets onto this phenomenal tear so Dan almost always will try and find an arc in an album, even if it isn't there. Dan finds an arc in this song that I believe in. I'll go to war for this one, buddy. And we would be remiss not to regale you with this because it was just such a genuine moment of it's like a eureka moment.
Yeah.
And you gave me so much perspective on it. Can I show them?
Yeah. It's a very muted dominant chord. And we finally land on our only instance of a C in a root position at the very last, word, point in the song. And it always lands. The only time you ever hear a root position C chord is on the word time. every single time.
They bring it right back to the simplest.
Love in the nick of time. I'm afraid I'm out of time. And when I hit that time, I hit that C.
It's home plate.
And that's really where you hear those voices you're talking about. That's where it's strongest, is right there. And I think it's because you're landing at home base for the first time in the song. You're never at home base. Even though you're hitting playing a C chords, they're never in their proper order until you finally land on that C chord in root position on the word time, just in the nick of time. And I think that was intentional.
So for those of you who have no idea what Dan just said, I want to encourage you. This is why we are doing this project together. He's incredibly brilliant.
You know what was so fun about that was I knew, well, there were two things fun about that segment was I knew I wanted to talk about the harmony in the whole root position C chord thing there. And when I framed it, I framed it as though I was going to explain it. But I was really lucky. Thing number one is the piano part you hear, that was done in post. And I didn't have to edit the dialogue. Somehow I spoke in such a way that the piano part worked in between. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
It's brilliant. I would have thought that'd taken you hours, man.
I just was able to like, all right, now I can play the chords here. So that was just a fun. I mean, it was intentional, but more luck than good.
You could Bob Ross that into happy accident, Phil.
Yeah. But what really makes me excited is that I knew I wanted to talk about this, but your lead in as to, you're talking about the low vocal part and that sort of stuff. The fact that you had that, like that feeling, I'm like, oh, I've got this theory.
And you just ride it.
Yeah, that was totally serendipitous that happened, and probably
it happens more often than not, though. And that's, I think, one of the great joys of this podcast.
Yeah.
Is, you and I come from pretty different musical backgrounds, but it's amazing how often we catch the same reference or we're laughing at each other about the notes that we have.
Yeah.
It's truly enjoyable to engage on that level.
Yeah. But moving along.
Yeah. What do we got?
Well, I got 58 songs.
Oh my gosh. Let it be Muddy Waters.
Muddy Waters. We have our first guest.
Our boy Lee from Rhode Island.
Yes, from Sasquatch Sounds.
And so, you and I were not hip to Muddy Waters. It's a pretty safe statement. We knew who he was. We've probably heard a couple tunes.
Yep.
You'd be lying if we called either of us fans.
That's correct.
We respect his stature in music, obviously, the same way you respect Abraham Lincoln.
Yes.
But I didn't know anything about Muddy Waters. So we called in some help.
Yep. Yeah, that was really the thing. And this was actually, we've had other guests since then, but we didn't know Lee at all.
No. You read it?
Found him on Reddit.
Hey.
Yeah, r/podcasting. I went in, I'm like, need a blues nerd who loves Muddy Waters. He hit me up. And we did a pre-interview with him. We just make sure he was like a good guy and everything. And he was.
Indeed. Yeah, no, we will see a lot of blues on this list. And we will always bring our boy Lee back in. What was so daunting about this task was the sheer amount of songs. We had to change. I was sitting here talking about how lucky we were to find our format. Well, they shoved a few anthologies at the very end of this list, aka the beginning of ours.
Right.
And we've had to change format on a few because you don't want to tolerate us sitting down and reviewing 58 songs.
No.
We don't want to do it.
Nope.
And so he helped us kind of carve through it. You were real smart on this one. I remember you saying we should go through this
by decade.
Yeah. And kind of pick the highlights, the themes, the tropes that you catch again and again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that worked out. And I think Lee was fantastic. He was very knowledgeable, and we'll get to hear about that.
Yeah, here's a little clip.
All right, next song from the 50s. Lee, why don't you hit us up?
We could talk about the song Rolling Stone.
Sure.
May as well.
Yeah, we're kind of there right now. So, that's obviously the namesake of the band and the magazine that this podcast is kind of based on. So that
what strikes you about this song? Yeah.
So I believe it was the first song that Muddy released after Chess became Chess Records.
I think so.
So that, that's pretty big.
Way to come out of the
significant
gate.
for what's that?
The way to come out of the gate.
Yeah, seriously. It's kind of actually a takeoff of an old blues song called Catfish Blues, that Muddy sort of rearranged and reworked the words for.
Yeah, that's interesting because there's another song
Right.
that's similar.
Yeah, that's from like the 20s or something. Catfish
Yep.
Blues goes
Yep.
back a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this particular song?
I love everything about it. It's why it made my top. I didn't want it to make my top 10 because cliche,
Yep.
but a good song is a good song through and through.
Right.
First of all, let's talk about lyrically speaking.
Yeah.
It's been influential enough to hold.
Right.
The notion of a Rolling Stone, as simple as it seems, has been referenced in media over and over and over and over again, to the point it was in like a weird piece of media that my brother and I scored on the film festival film later on.
Yeah.
It's become ubiquitous with being elusive and flaky, being a Rolling Stone, right?
Yeah.
Papa was.
Papa
Right.
was like a Rolling Stone. Bob Dylan wrote that song based off of this.
Right.
Everybody,
Yeah.
this is all taken from one core place, and on top of it, mute the vocals and make it Charlie Brown. It's just sung beautifully. It sounds like a tense moment in blues, and I like that about it.
Yeah.
I mean, in hindsight, and having listened to so much Muddy Waters, he undeniably was a pioneer.
Yeah.
And has influenced so many people. And so I'm thankful I was put in the position where I had to like really buckle down, kind of take a breath, listen to some blues. And then, it makes it easier to reflect on the people that he did influence. And it should come without any surprise if you know anything about us, that we get so hyped talking about one guy he influenced, which is John Mayer.
That's correct. And this album, we got some feedback by one of our listeners who critiqued the fact that we have often made fun of musical theater, but then how much we were just like riffing and singing the praises of this song is, she's like, you guys kind of sound like musical theater the way you guys are like singing all the lyrics in this episode.
We admit so the album Continuum by John Mayer is like desert album island for both of us. Yeah. It's just that good. I'm not sorry. And I listened back to the episode, which I thought would be horribly cringy, and it's only mildly cringy.
A little cringy. We fanboy a little too hard, but
We do. But there's also some pretty brilliant moments. It's very clear that we know this one quite well. I still think it's rated way too late on the list.
me too. The unfortunate thing about knowing an album this well is it's easy to go long. It's easy to overanalyze. It's easy to do all those sort of things. So that could be a detriment to the episode. But I do think we hit some pretty good points. We talk about the story arc of the album.
Indeed.
Even though it's not really a known story arc, it's one I made up and I'm standing by it.
I'll stand by it with you, buddy.
Yeah.
I think we spoke a lot about the instrumentation. We spoke a ton about the artists who play on it. And we dissected it almost note for note.
Yeah. And we're about to talk about the fantastic Steve Jordan
And
another drummer. Stay tuned.
another one.
Yeah. I'll check that song out.
We have to move
Yeah, I'll
on.
fight you.
You don't have to fight me.
Yeah.
I'll check this out.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Belief, song number 3. This is weighing in at a mere 47 million. This one, this is a actual protest song on the album.
I love this song with all of my soul.
Thank you. It's such a good tune.
2 drummers.
Well, there you go. So drummer number 1,
Steve Jordan.
yes, who is not unknown on this album. But drummer number 2,
Clayton Cameron.
what's Clayton do for this?
He's playing brushes on the snare drum. And I didn't realize there were two drummers until I actually did research for this episode, because I'm like, how do you play this drum beat the way he's playing? It's got to be two drummers. I always felt there's another, like an overdub or something. So Clayton Cameron is this, menial drummer. He's known as the Brushmaster. He played with Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett, Neil Young, a bunch of people.
You call him menial. The Brushmaster played with the Rat Pack.
Most of the Rat Pack, yeah. Phenomenal. He started playing with Tony Bennett in the early 90s, but I will say Steve Jordan obviously holds the pocket. There's so much pocket in this.
But the touch is Clayton.
It's Clayton.
And you can hear it, guys. There's something.
Two drummers.
Perfect song.
It is. And I always wondered how to play that song, and I play with another drummer is how I play
That's exactly right. With brushes.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, not sorry, guys. This album is still my favorite.
So I did get another piece of feedback. This is directly to me, so I knew the individual. I mean, I know the other person who gave the feedback to, as you do. But he said to me that he never really gave John Mayer the time of day, and thanks for like sharing that with him, because now he listens to it and he's like, it's a fantastic album. I'm like, there you go.
Yeah. It's eye-opening how good this album is, and personally, I've taken so much from it for my literal profession. So, yeah. Speaking of artists who people never thought would influence them, who's next?
Harry Styles. The album is Fine Line.
Talk about another one that absolutely caught us off guard.
Well, for two reasons. First, we recorded this album by mistake.
Yes, we did.
When we came up with the idea for this podcast, actually, I called Carl with an idea for a podcast. He's like, oh, that's too much work. And so this idea is actually yours to go through.
I've been sitting on this idea. You called me and said, hey, I really want to do a podcast, because I'd come off of a podcast I was doing with my father before his health went south. And so I was already kind of doing the studio thing. You said, I really want to like get into like taking songs and dissecting them down and maybe do over the course of a season an entire album. I said, that's deep. I said, I think you'd have issues getting a general listener to really want to go that heavy, but your average musician might love that.
Yeah.
I said, I have a much easier one I've been sitting on for a long time. I said, never had anybody to do it with. And that's how we did this.
Right.
Little did I know I got the better end of the deal here.
So the funny thing about that is we do our best to not look ahead. We do a little bit of planning now, because
we have to now.
Yeah. But
we never look more than 5 or 6.
Right. So I found a version of the list in a CSV, in a spreadsheet. And I to keep it, because we're using the 2023 list, and who knows, the internet is ephemeral and they could change their mind in 2026 and there's a new list. But we can't, we have to commit to a version. So I did have someone help me make sure that the list was correct, but there's still 500 tracks on here. So we get to this episode, Fine Line by Harry Styles. Cool. We do the research. You go to the Wikipedia page. Wikipedia says it's on the list.
Yep.
It's not on the list. Harry's House is on the list.
But it's not this album.
It's not this album.
But we did the work.
So
we recorded it.
We recorded it, and then I don't even know how I discovered that it was wrong, but it was like 2 or 3 weeks after we recorded the episode. I'm like, we have to re-record Harry Styles.
And it was due in a few days.
Yeah. That being said, we're both surprised by the fact that we love Harry Styles.
I don't know what's more surprising to me from that year. The fact that we didn't like the Marvin Gaye, or the fact that you and I are both now not 1, but 2 times over Harry Styles fans, because we had to make Raitt and do the Raitt album.
Yeah.
Which was also fantastic.
Yeah.
This guy's so talented.
He is. And he surrounds himself with talented people. And one of the things that I think we talked about on this particular album was the first half is stuff that you would, I'll say, quote unquote, expect
In pop music.
in pop music.
Just really well done.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then the second half is it shows his love of music, and he crosses genres in many different ways. And to me, that's what really makes it exciting.
Yeah, it's a incredibly modern yet old school feel. Modern production, old school ideas, consistently good vocal performance right up front. What really hits me at the end of the day, if I had to describe this, his albums are like without ego. You'd think a good-looking blonde pop star from the UK who's number 31 most listened to in the US or in the world, but on Spotify, whatever it might be, would be an absolute egomaniac. It seems like not at all.
Yeah.
And he's just vulnerable.
And we cover some of that actually in the episode as to him coming from One Direction and the turmoil he felt being in that One Direction machine. Pretty interesting how like based he seems to be.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Here's a clip that we kind of chose to show off.
Let's move on.
Great. Oh, here it is.
Here we go.
Here it is. She.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Number one for me.
Yeah, it's mine too. Pick of the album.
Yep. And what's nice is, given that the other song is in 3/4 and 5/4, this one's in a 3 feel.
Yeah. I see what you did there, sir.
Now, the debate on that is whatever the debate is. It's not even a debate. It's
3,
just a
6, 8, 4. You call it you want.
Right. It's a 3 feel. Yeah. 6/8 or 12/8.
Yeah.
Which, how many songs about dreams are in 6/8?
Plenty.
Yeah, I've got Dreams to Remember, Dream a Little Dream.
Oh, dream a little dream.
Right. Rainbow Connection.
Dream On is not, unfortunately.
Dream On is not, no.
Sorry, I'm still pushing for a couple here.
Yeah.
And the Fleetwood is not, unfortunately,
It's
either.
not. But Dreams, I'm talking about dreamers. And this is a song about a dreamer.
Indeed. That's a better way to put it, I think.
Yeah.
This is a better phrase there.
That's why I call it Rainbow Connection. You know, Kermit the Frog's rocking the...
God, this is just a bluesy R&B song.
It's fantastic.
And this one, I did the rare Carl thing, and it was like, okay, what the hell happened here? I have to know how this happened. Here is the secret weapon. This guy named Mitch Rolland.
Okay.
His acclaim is he only plays for Harry Styles. I was like, who the player on this? I swore up and down I would know who arranged this song. And because it sounded so, I wouldn't say familiar, but it was like, this is my bag. There's no way I don't know who's in this.
Well, it's got the No Diggity's dominant.
Yeah, that does have that.
Right.
But I was like, I got to know something here. Now, last week when we caught up for a production meeting, I said, there's at least one name brand musician. I knew it because I went and looked it up. Do you want to figure out at least what instrument you would know the name on in this song? Because you didn't know the guitar player, Mitch Rolland.
No, I don't.
The bass player,
Okay.
Pino Palladino.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, yes, there it is.
Yeah.
And you can tell from the get. I was like, this is so familiar. It's smooth. He's just playing some root 5 octave stuff. So for those who are not familiar with Sir Pino, his most recent claim, and the reason him and Dan and I are smiling, is this is John Mayer's first phone call bass player at all times. But he's played with, come on, what was his big line? Was it Genesis or something like that? His style is like, he plays this fretless bass. He has no formal training.
Right.
He's super melodic, plays like this like chorus drippy 80s style, but has now become the go-to call pocket guy for just about anybody in the industry.
Yeah.
So much so that he had his own Tiny Desk concert alongside, it was like Pino and Nate Smith or Brian Blade or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, look up Pino Palladino. He's got his own Fender signature bass. He's one of the most sought after bass players in the industry. And sure enough, our boy Harry's got him on the track. And Pino sounds... He fills up the space in his own way.
Yeah.
On a song, by the way, where he's competing with other killer players.
Yeah. So we actually finally get a guitar solo on this.
Oh, talk about a guitar solo.
And is it a blue box? The octave pedal on that? There's like the Fool in the Rain guitar sound.
I mean, I couldn't tell you the exact effects, but whatever it is, it's not like crappy digital breakup. I mean,
no,
this is a really, really emotional, thick, like I said, it's a blues R&B song. Mm-hmm. It's my favorite listen on the album by far, and the production does not slip. It builds, and Harry essentially gives half the song away to his band to let them like just do a great thing.
Right. Like I said, they've teased guitar solos. We actually get one.
There's no ego on this album for him, honestly. I mean, he's just a player in a chorus. It feels like... How good's the guitar solo in the song She?
It's phenomenal. We talked about it in the episode. We talked about it in the 6-8 episode, and then we're talking about it again.
Can't not do it. Call our bluff. Go listen to it.
Yeah.
If you have ears, you'll like it.
Yep.
Fantastic. So I guess the last one we'll look at, and I'm so surprised to see this make it in the numbers, but I'm thankful we did. We did our first round of these Convince Me picks where Daniel and I each chose an album that we enjoy that we don't think the other ones listen to, and we're pretty sure they're not on the top 500 list. We're not, robbing the list. And, he chose an Alice Cooper album for me, which was awesome. And you can go listen to that episode. I chose a lesser known artist. It was also a double disc. I didn't mean to do that to you.
Yeah. 5 days.
It's so good.
90 minutes.
And this was, I know, you poor thing. But it's a good 90 minutes if you like doing yoga. This is LTJ Bookem's Journey Inwards, discs 1 and 2.
Discs 1 and 2. So at first blush, I see a 90-minute album. I know I have 5 days to dig in. And I mean, we run into this with other things, but for some reason, we try to stay ahead of episodes.
We have to,
right?
One of us gets sick.
Yep,
we're behind.
Now, end of the season, we've been back against the wall, but we're about to fix that. But walking in this album, I knew I would end up liking it. It's not something that I would normally have picked to listen, which is why you picked it for me. I really enjoyed going through this. I really enjoyed the really phenomenal playing and sampling and everything that sort of goes into it. It's a really well built album. At its core, it's drum and bass, but not really.
Yeah.
I don't even, it's got jazz.
House, it has jazz, jungle.
Yeah.
What I like about LTJ Bookem, and one of the reasons that it's resonated with me over the years, is it's easy to listen to. It's effortless.
It is.
It's music to move life to.
Mm-hmm.
It's the kind of thing you want to have in your AirPods at like a 3 or a 4 as you walk down a New York City street. There's a precision to it.
Yeah.
It's radiant.
What I find fascinating about it is everything you said I agree with, but if you're at a show and this is playing, you're moving.
Oh yeah.
So you can chill to it, or you can just party hard to it.
You could vacuum the house to it.
Right. It's a very utilitarian album. How about that?
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Though. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's because it's repetitive. I think what makes it, comfortable is the choice of sound sources.
Yeah. Yeah. The production is great. There's good harmony on it.
Smeary, big, drippy Rhodes keyboards and smooth saxophones. And
yeah.
I don't know. One of the reasons I thought you'd bite on it is because you and I share a love for the band Jamiroquai.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a lot of the same instrumentation as Jamiroquai, just a totally different application.
Yeah.
Not totally different, actually, if you think about it. They kind of get into some groove stuff.
They do, but they're more willing to round off those corners and make sure you have a
Their songwriting.
Yeah.
They have to accommodate lyricists.
Yeah.
This is not lyrical music. This is mood music.
Yeah. It was good. It was good. And I feel like what we're about to listen to here was interesting. We mentioned jazz, and there was an interesting connection that I think we found for this one here.
Yeah, let's show them.
The last thing I'll just talk about, I'm going to skip Unconditional Love, not because I don't like it, but just to sort of get a vibe is, and I'm curious your thought is this, is Feel What You Feel. I get Pat Metheny with a house groove.
Yeah, I like the Metheny call here.
Yeah.
It, first of all, kind of just echoes what we've been saying the whole time, which is this jazz influence.
Yeah.
Pat Metheny as a guitar player, distinct player. And one of the things that he did so well is he had really, really cool chord voicings and like inner workings and melodies.
He did triads, which is kind of interesting for a jazz player. A lot of triads, a lot of inversions.
Indeed. And so when you look at those chord voicings, he played guitar like he was playing a piano.
Correct.
Not guitar by this is the easiest position on the chord I'm used to playing.
Yeah.
As a guy who plays some guitar over here, like I fall for the same 7 shapes and 9 shapes and 13 shapes, and I know all of those shapes off the E and the A string. Metheny kind of skipped that. Instead, his whole take was like, I hear these notes stacked in this order, and I'm going to go there first.
Yeah.
Not for what you were taught, but more he was playing for his ear. And when you talk about inversions, I hear them here.
Yeah. And when I say he's playing triads, I don't mean that to be like
root
he's
third fifth.
What's that?
It's not always root third fifth.
It's not, but and a lot of guitar chords aren't that anyway. He's not playing campfire chords, right? He's playing triads as a part of the harmony. We've said this on 3 or 4 episodes where the bass can dictate the harmony. What Pat Metheny is doing in his harmonic arrangements is he is recognizing he is one of the instruments in the ensemble, and other instruments, like the chords are not, it's not that there aren't rich chords on Pat Metheny songs. It's like, but he's not playing all the notes because he doesn't have to.
And there's a really open beauty to that.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy you took the time, because you really put a lot of effort into analyzing this one. You took the challenge seriously, which, I don't know, it's like respectful to me, which feels real good. So I thank you for that.
Well, yeah, I figure your goal isn't to waste my time.
Oh, never.
Right? So, no, I really enjoyed listening to that. And I think it's nice when you can have something that is so... If you look at LTJ Bukem and then you say, oh, and Pat Metheny, you're not going to think it's going to be in the same sentence.
No, but this one totally fits.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will always remember when you came and sat down with me here and we cracked a drink and you listened to it on super hi-fi, because you're not rocking like these like rich monitors, sits at home at the treated studio, and you can really get the full depth of the recording.
Yeah.
It's so pleasing.
It is. Yeah.
When I was a kid listening to this, I had like 2 like IMPP 450 subwoofers in my car, like no trunk style.
Yeah.
And there's just something about it that I'll never forget. I was listening to a lot of drum and bass back then, though. Like aggressive drum and bass, not this chill stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. It feels like I said earlier, that doesn't feel like a year.
It's been a good year.
That feels like a millennia of content. And think about all the stuff we didn't even talk about.
I know.
Well, there's to 40 albums, my friend. Here's to 40 more.
Here's to 40 more.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
As always, we look forward to serving you with more musical commentary, maybe a little knowledge, hopefully some humor. All of you have given us such a great reason to spend our weeks together, and I couldn't have a better friend than you, bud.
Hallelujah, my friend. See you next year.
See you next year. I'm Carl Carter Fansteel.
I'm Dan Woodard.
Dun, 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 dun. Back Backwards Beats Podcast is a Tune-A-Win production recorded live at Thought Shack Studios in Halethorpe, Maryland.
If you enjoyed the show, make sure to subscribe and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
You can find us at Backwards Beats Podcast on most platforms.
Share the love, and we'll see you next week for another deep dive into the next album on Rolling Stone Magazine's Top 500 list. Until then, salt your melons.